Hello, in this video, we will configure Serilog from AppSettings.json instead of it being inside program.cs. The following are the steps for this video. First, we will remove configure logger, and then we will add logger configuration, read from configuration inside the UseSerilog function, and then we will add Serilog in AppSettings.development.json. After that, we'll add the write to console and then add in the enrich in the configuration, also the minimum level. Lastly, we'll write to file. Mainly, the benefit of moving into AppSettings.json is the flexibility. So anytime you wish to change to add a new enrich, for example, you're monitoring the memory usage, then you can add the configuration without redeploying your code. Also, you can set up different configuration per environment. Like for production, you can set the minimum level to information or debug. Then in production, you can just set to error or warnings. If you want to follow along, which I recommend, you can download the code from this GitHub repository. The link will be provided in the video description below. If you are following from the playlist, you can resume coding in the current source code you have. Okay, now let's head into Visual Studio Code in the API layer. Let's go to program.cs, and here we clean up our code. Configure logger should be removed. Don't need this anymore. And then let's remove the configure logger here also. Okay, we're done with the cleanup. So now let's update UseSerilog. Let's go here. We pass in two parameter, hosting context, and then logger configuration. Okay, then goes to logger configuration dot read from that configuration, then it will get from the hosting context that configuration. Okay, now let's go to app settings at development.json, then add here the Serilog. So Serilog, okay, then we add write to, then we add a console, so name console, and then arguments, so args output template. So timestamp dd hour minute seconds. Okay, close this, and then level, so u3, so 3 characters, and then message lj new line exception. Okay. We can line this together. Okay, save. So now let's run the application. Control tilde cd API .NET watch run, and let's wait for it to run and see the logs. Okay, so now it has the correct date format. The information is 3 characters and then the message. So now let's add some enrich. So here after Serilog, let's add enrich from log context. With correlation ID. And then, so just remember that with correlation ID, we need to add a NuGet. So this one, Serilog enricher correlation ID, and for that to work also, you need this in the startup, I think, yeah. Services that add HTTP context successor. Okay, let's go back. So in our template, we will add the correlation ID. So the correlation ID is to group same transaction together. So for example, you're calling the API endpoint, then it will log all the process that happened for that particular transaction. Okay, let's save. And then, so for the changes to work, you need to save and then control tilde, control C twice, control C to stop the application and rerun it. .NET watch run. Okay, so now there's no correlation ID because there's no new transaction yet, but you can now see the source context. So if you go to Swagger, you can use this link and then click membership. We try to execute the get list of membership twice. So if we go back to VS Code, we can see that there's 2 transactions. So there's a different correlation ID for each transaction. Okay, now so let's add the minimum level which will filter out the logs. So here in after Serilog, let's add minimum level. Default will be information because this is just a dev environment. Then override. We don't want to see the Microsoft ASP Netcore. So this one, we copy this, paste it here. Then we want only to see if it's a warning. Like this I think this should be sufficient. So now let's run again the endpoint. execute. I just execute on my side the list membership, and then we will see there's an error because of the missing comma here. Okay, as this is a configuration change, we need to restart the application. Control C, .NET Watch Run. Okay, started building. So it will not show the Microsoft log, Microsoft.asp netcore. But it just show the Microsoft Entity Framework core logs. So we can see the scripts running. And then, so we call again the endpoint, execute. So now once we call the endpoint, we can see that it has fewer lines. It does not show the Microsoft.asp core. So you can filter out which one you like, but I want to see the script and the result of the API call, so I did not filter this Serilog.asp core. Okay, lastly, let's finish up by adding the write to file. So under here, write to, let's add another one. So this time we write to file. So name, file, and then args. So for a file, we need a path. So I just copy in the folder path I have. Don't forget the quotation. And then the output template, I just copy from here. And then we rerun the application. Control C, then .NET Watch Run. Okay, so it's up and running. We call the endpoint again. Okay. Okay, so this is the log file after I open it. So to be the same as before, we just add a rolling interval. So rolling interval for day. Save and then rerun. So in your logs folder, you should be able to see the log file with the date. In the source code, you can also delete this just to clean up. The result should be the same. So to summarize, this is how it looks like when we configure Serilog in our application. That's all for this video. Please hit the like button and subscribe to help me reach out to more people. Comment below for questions and topic you would like to be discussed. Thank you and good day.